Alright, so here is how I was able to motorize the 75955 Hogwarts Express. Just came out. I quickly figured out that this train was not made to have power functions drop in easily, so it's certainly not straightforward. There weren't any instructions online, but that said, I've only ever motorized one train before, the Christmas train from maybe 2 years ago. So the fact that I was able to figure this out means I have full confidence that anyone else would be able to hack it together if they needed to. So I ended up swapping the tender car, the existing wheel set that came in the set, for a Lego train motor. You can see it is, I think, 2 bricks longer overall. I actually like the proportions better this way, but it was fairly straightforward. Took the tabs off that are used to hook it to the other cars, put them on the train motor. I put this little side detail on just because I had it lying around and I like the look of it. Totally not necessary. And then added the additional brick length, but otherwise built it the way that it was in the instructions. To cover the IR receiver on the edge, I think this ended up being maybe 2 plates taller. It was pretty much the same as it came. That part was the easier part for sure. Then on the engine, I will say it was substantially easier because I happen to have a red battery box. It is visible from the outside, so if I didn't have that, it would make it a lot harder to conceal, and there would need to be a lot more extensive modifications. But essentially, wheelbase is exactly the same. This part of the train to the front, exactly the same. Take the lid off here. I was able to get the battery box in here. Had to remove these panels, which had a nice curve. So you did lose a little bit of the smoothness of that shape, which I think there's probably a more elegant way to work that out. But with the pieces that I had sitting around on my desk, I think this does the job. The bows that I have on top here to mimic that rounded shape. Let's see. There you go. They helped. I still needed to conceal the gray here. I just use a bracket. With the tile on the side, again, there's probably a bit of work that can be done to make that better. This did need to come up by 1 plate height just to make it tall enough to accommodate the clip, but almost exactly the same as it came. Someone had suggested that it might work better to have the battery box in the tender, and I've seen some other folks do that. It would add weight to the driving wheels, which is definitely a helpful thing. I was able to run this on a basic track without any challenges, so it worked the way it is. And I have seen it makes the to have the train motor and then the battery box stacked. This would make this part quite a bit taller than it started. But if you don't have the red case to begin with, that would be a much easier way to go about it. So I ended up, let's see, took out this assembly from the main train, and here's the wheelbase that I ended up with extra. The side pieces I wasn't able to get back in. I don't know exactly which parts that I used to do this, some brackets, some tiles, some plates, but very basic stuff that I already had lying around, in addition to this train motor right there. So that is how I was able to get it motorized.